What can people who want to support the cause, what can we do?
So I think the most important thing is to support the grassroots organizations within your city, right? The progressive forces within the context that do take firm stances on Palestine, to support them. Because here's the thing, there's this tendency, especially amongst the progressive wing of American movements, to jump ship the moment it gets too hot, right? And we've seen that already. Congressmen have jumped ship, right? People who are often viewed as pro-Palestine are jumping ship.
Right. People condemned, like AOC condemned the All Out for Palestine.
Which was in fact organized by the PYM. It wasn't organized by the DSA.
Oh, wow.
Right? Now, the DSA, because it's an opportunity for them to take a shot at the DSA, they did it, right? Because people are scoring points.
Right.
People like Richie Torres, people like the governor of the state of New York, all of these people, Mayor Adams, all of these people are looking, they're looking for an opportunity to score points and to attack the progressive wing of our society, not because they stand on Palestine, but truthfully because their opportunity to attack them for being progressive.
Right.
And this is, I think, like the progressive movement needs to understand that Palestinian issue is a canary in a coal mine. Okay. The moment it goes down, that means they're circling you, right? They're circling you for whether it's because you support Medicare for all, whether it's because you support public education, whatever issues that are actually progressive, Palestine is their vehicle to attack you. Okay. And you know someone is principled and not willing to sell out people if they stand firm on Palestine. Because if you can catch heat on Palestine and weather it, you can catch heat on fossil fuels, you can catch heat on supporting unions in their strike, you can catch heat in supporting Medicare for all. If you're willing to weather it, then you're willing to weather it in all issues. And so, you know, I think supporting grassroots movements and progressive movements that are firm on Palestine, groups like the PYM, local Palestine groups, student movements on campus, Students for Justice in Palestine that are all over campuses across the US, over 200 chapters. These groups are under constant attack. There's a reason, for example, like, you know, I think, Katie, you asked me, like, do you have a Twitter handle? And I do have a Twitter, but I no longer have a Twitter. And the reason is because I've been harassed nonstop by groups like Canary Mission. Canary Mission, which, I'll be forward, Hisam is my middle name. And the reason is because the amount of pressure we face.
So it's not your last name.
It's not my last name. Because people might call my workplace, right? And so here's the thing. On my Canary Mission,
Can you explain what Canary Mission is for people who don't know?
So Canary Mission is I think it's an Adelson-funded initiative, truthfully. I can't tell you because they guard their funding. Sheldon Adelson. It's an Adelson-funded project that essentially is a blacklist of Palestinian, Arab, and just pro-Palestine activists all over campuses. Okay, professors, media personalities, students, right? And the idea is to blacklist them and to basically track their lives. And for example, my profile is multiple pages long. My profile has my wedding date on, who I got married to.
Oh, great. So she can get harassed too, or he can.
And she's on Canary Mission too. So they've linked our profiles. My wife and me are now on Canary Mission, and then they've identified that we've married. It tells you where my workplace is. It follows every development in my life. Sometimes if I don't remember what I've done in terms of my activism career, I just go to the Canary Mission and it's right there present for me because they've chronicled it all. Okay. And they accuse you of being anti-Semitic, of supporting terrorism, of being anti-American, all of the sort of accusations you can imagine. So that's Canary Mission. And I mean, it's not like at this point in time, I've already it's not like I'm going to erase what they have, but I'm just also tired of being harassed. I'm not going to stop my work. I prioritize different avenues of work. I'm not on social media as much. I'm more involved with my community, organizing on a grassroots level. But I used to be very present within social media. But now for me, it's balancing. Do I want to spend my energy responding to vitriol and harassment, or do I want to spend my energy organizing within my community? And I've chosen the latter.
What was the protests, the All Out for Palestine, what were those protests about? Because you have a lot of people, of course, saying that they were a celebration of violence. I mean,
Right.
you know, I almost feel bad even asking you about that because it's so ridiculous. But given, you know, I want to give you the chance, given how pervasive those headlines are and how it clearly worked, either people like AOC either believed it naively or saw through it, but for political reasons, pretended not to.
Right. So the All Out for Palestine protest is about demonstrating that there is still support for Palestinians, right? As they weather one of the cruelest bombardment campaigns. We're talking about almost 700 Palestinians killed over the duration of 2 days, you know? And so for us, it was to signal to the rest of the world and to our communities here that the grassroots, the diverse communities of these different cities, the progressive movements support Palestine. And support Palestine because here's the thing. As far as the attacks go, there's a bunch of different things that have happened during these last attacks in Israel. But the most fundamental and most important thing for us as Palestinians is that Palestinians broke out of Gaza. Okay? That alone is something that's monumental for us. Why? Because it's a prison break. You know what I mean? When you have people who are completely trapped, they're besieged, they're blockaded, land, air, and sea, food, medicine, construction material, everything that goes in and out is controlled. Okay? When those people, some of them have never lived outside or visited outside of Gaza. They've not seen the rest of Palestine. They've not seen the coast of what is called modern day Israel, where they're from. Because 70% of the Gazan population, the people who are living in the Gaza Strip, are not from Gaza. They're from the north of Palestine. They're from Haifa and Akka and Tabariya and all of these different cities that now either have very tiny Arab populations or no Arab populations at all. So these people fled south, okay? And they ended up there. And these people have never seen it for generations, the rest of Palestine. And so it was a prison break. So for us as Palestinians, this is important. Now, getting into the weeds of what transpired afterwards in the propaganda that's been spread, you have to, it's almost impossible to parse through. But at the end of the day, we support our right, the right of our people to break out of prison. Okay? The right of our people to break out of a concentration camp, to revolt against military rule. That's fundamental. And what people don't understand is that in these instances, like, and I think Miko was talking about it, colonial situations create violence, period. The situation itself is violent, right? In order to put a fence around the people, in order to keep them in that fence, in order to deny them their food, medicine, you have to inflict a severe degree of violence. And to prevent them from revolting, you have to inflict a severe degree of violence. You have to throw them in cages, you have to torture them, you have to drop bombs on them regularly. And so the situation for Palestinians, and this is what like is crazy, and you hear this, you know, like obviously the cameras turned on when that violence touched Israeli lives, right? But this violence is ever present for Palestinians, ever present. Okay, if it's not the actual violence, it's the threat of violence. Okay, and so our protest is also a part of that, is recognizing that our people revolting is something that is honorable. Okay, that's not to say we're going to get into like, it's not about a celebration of a specific act or the consequences. It's the cry for freedom that is reflected in the idea of breaking a fence with a bulldozer that is used to destroy your home, right? That's the image that we see, okay? And so these are why we organize these protests.